Hello.
All
Oh,
right.
hello,
Good
hello.
evening, everybody. My name's Andy Rue 42,
I am Complete Links.
and we've got some special cool cats and guests here. We got Eli and Tiny Tabernacle with us here. So
Right.
yeah,
Hello.
Hello, hello.
tonight's special
Hello.
topic. Yeah, so glad everybody could be here, and we're so early, so we're gonna say hi to all the people watching on the playback. So yeah, tonight we're gonna be talking about the belittling tongue.
The belittling
The
tongue.
belittling tongue. So lock and load with your Bible verses here. Proverbs 11. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one.
I think you mean Ephesians.
Ephesians. Ephesians 4:29 says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." So the type of unwholesome talk they're talking about here is talk that brings other people down, is detrimental to their mental health and well-being, and does not lift up. And so we are admonished, or we're encouraged to lift each other up with our words, to be encouraging, to be positive, to be cool. Be cool, man.
Yeah, I really
Coolsville.
like the author's description of comparing the belittling tongue to just a hammer, because the hammer can tear down walls, but it also builds them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you're going around belittling people all the time, you're going to be tearing down a lot of walls. A lot of walls. And I think that's especially common at the younger ages when you still don't completely understand boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And, thinking back to junior high and even before junior high, like the later grades of grade school, that's what everybody does. It's just like a part of your existence
Yeah.
in a school setting where and for some people it never stops, unfortunately. The kind of people that are choosing not to grow, they don't want to expand their abilities. Maybe they just never had anybody in their lives ever that was really an encouraging person. Words of affirmation, words of encouragement.
Yeah. Never was heard an encouraging word
Yep.
in their
Yep.
lives, and that really is detrimental to our health, because we learn from what we see in our childhoods, and if all we hear is put downs and words that hurt, then that's all we know how to talk to other people.
And trauma that you experience at a younger age can also lead to perfectionism,
Mm-hmm.
which perfectionism actually can lead to this.
That's the truth, sister.
That can be like a huge part of belittling, because it comes across as belittling, even though to you, you're trying to fix something. I think
Right.
that for my personal growth, when I finally just start accepting people as they are and stop trying to fix them, I enjoy life so much more. And I was never doing it out of like antagonism or trying to be hurtful, like ever. It was literally a part of my trauma experience. It's just a part of perfectionism, and perfectionism is a byproduct of trauma.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you can control. So you start to try to control all the little things you can around you. It can be your house, your job, your relationships. It doesn't matter. And so I think that actually trauma is the gateway to.
Yeah. Once again, we are in Trauma Town, and we find ourselves in need
Trauma
of some
town.
good old-fashioned therapy. I'm going to take you to Trauma Town. And
All the
Eli,
problems could be solved with a little therapy,
I know. I mean, honestly, why isn't it in junior high? Why isn't there a class that's like, everybody, we're going to learn about human interactions and literally start
Yeah.
teaching these kids like how they can better support themselves because a lot of people have trauma. In fact, it's something like I'm not going to go into the details of abuse or anything, but what it's 7 out of 10 women have experienced abuse. Actually, I think it's 9 out of 10 now since the pandemic, and it's went from 4 out of 10 men up to 7 out of 10 men. So, when you're walking down the street, you have to think 90% of these people have been abused. That's just it, plain and simple. So, I think if you start to look at people as this person has had some trauma somewhere in their life. I've had trauma in my life. It's a lot easier to accept them where they're at and just try to be kind.
The internet is not very helpful. Google's not very helpful on this question. It's giving reasons uh, why, or it's giving the more so the what. Like, yeah, people to make people appear more capable or successful in comparison, or people belittle
Mhm.
others because they themselves have low self-esteem. But
Yep.
it doesn't actually really talk about the cause. You have to go a little bit deeper than that. So let me see if I can actually find.
Well, belittling is dismissive, isn't it? I mean, and I also think of it as I had this professor who later told me that I was her favorite student ever. But she did this thing in class and it was like tough love, tough love, tough love. And I was like, I cannot take this anymore. Like this is becoming abusive. And I flat out said to her at one point, look, if you keep saying these kinds of things to me, I'm not going to be able to keep going in your classes. I just can't. I can't live like this. And
Mm,
she taught like, 6 out of 10 classes. And I'm just like, "Oh, this is so terrible. How can I keep going like this?" And I'm literally talking to some other professors that knew her really well going, "What do I do?" And they said the same thing, "Oh, she does that to her favorite students." And I'm like, "Why?" Because she thinks that it's going to encourage you to try harder because she knows you can. And I'm like, "But that doesn't work." And they're like, "Yeah, we know."
uh,
And so finally I said to her, look, I actually did. I finished the first year, and then I said, "I'm not coming back next year to this program." And I started into a different program, which is actually when I jumped into psychology hardcore. Um, but it was really tough because I know I say that because tough love is but all of the comments were always like, "You can do better." Every single thing I did was, "Oh yeah, that was great, but you could do better than that." But really detailed comments about that, which is really hard to deal with. And for somebody that's constantly trying to fix you and make you better, just is not always welcome. Although, if somebody were to come to you and say, hey, I am in a stage of growth and I would really like you to help me to better myself. And then they give you some examples of what they're looking for. Then you have somebody who's given you permission to say, wow, that's a great question. This is what I've seen. Because sometimes when there's somebody who is on the outside, you know, you see something different, like Andy Rue, I'm going to use you.
yo,
If I see Andy Rue keep saying something that's not nice and he's doing this a lot to other people, I might go, Andy Rue, you say
mm,
this a lot to people, and
hmm
I find it a little offensive myself, and here's why. um, is there any way that you could possibly tell me why you say that? You know, you might get somewhere that is a little bit better than, oh, I hate the way you say that. You say that all the time.
right. I notice you put other people down quite often. Why do you think you do that? I mean, I can be a little bit more blunt, but
Yeah, and all the time kind of statements really happen in fights a lot. So it's
exaggerating and
yes, yes.
just taking everything to the catastrophizing, like, oh, this always happens. We're never gonna, a classic uh, no-win argument type of situation. So
Yeah.
we've been talking a lot about the, I guess, the inferiority complex side of belittling. We, because of trauma, we don't feel ourselves to be, good enough or whatever. And but what about, there's kind of the other side of belittling others. And maybe it's because of the superiority complex. Maybe people genuinely think they're better than other people, and they have the right to do that, and it's kind of verging on sociopath pathology.
And
One,
narcissism.
one
Yeah.
thing that I was thinking about while we were talking about this is that there's a Spirit of Prophecy quote that says that the people who are constantly looking for negative traits in others will begin to develop in themselves the negative traits they are beholding. Like, if you're always looking for negative in people, you're going to start to take on those characteristics of the negative that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was like kind of relevant or adjacent to like belittling and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you search out what you're looking for, you'll find it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy,
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
And
yeah,
go ahead, Eli.
I was just gonna say, I think it's interesting that they brought that up because some of the biggest belittlers that I know tend to criticize the same things that they're already doing, but in others, And I always find that interesting, that literally everything that they complain about, they're already doing themselves in some capacity.
yeah,
That reminds me of
projector.
projecting, yeah. But it also reminds me of like when I quit smoking. I was smoking cigarettes, which was like the hardest drug to give up. It was so addictive. Like what it does to your brain is just so addictive. So
Hey, there's Hyvie.
there is Hive. So and here's the point about that.
Hey, Hive.
When I quit smoking and I was really doing well, so like it's been at least like 9 months and I've quit smoking and it's quit smelling good. Now it just smells disgusting and toxic and I can't stand it, right? So everywhere I went, if it was even slightly, I was like a cop. I'm just smelling cigarettes, and it's like, oh, I gotta move. I can't be near this person. Or, oh, I'm downwind. Oh no, I've got to be upwind from this person. And it was just like the biggest pet peeve of mine. And especially when I would walk out of a store and there's somebody having a cigarette like right outside the front door of a store.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I did this for so many years to other people and like lack of consideration about my cigarette smoke. And here we do this with like our attitudes and our words all the time. I've
Yeah.
also seen it where like kids and teens, they mirror their parents so much that by the time they move out, they can still be mirroring their parents. And then suddenly 2 years goes by and they're like a totally different person. You're like, what happened? Oh, I moved out of my parents' house a couple years ago. And guess
Yeah,
what?
you didn't have all that negative energy, man.
They stop mirroring them. They
Negative
start becoming
vibes.
their own person and they've
Yeah.
no longer just basically being a mirror of their parents.
Raise your hand if you've experienced that. I'm raising my hand.
I'm raising my hand.
And, I think with certain types of language, it's like secondhand smoke. Like people who just nonchalantly and casually swear, like, and just put curse words in
with everything.
Right. It's just like this secondhand smoke, and you gotta like just put up with it. And like, bro, this is this is a church picnic. Why are you swearing?
Yeah, I have a bad habit of whenever I'm around another group of people, if I'm around them long enough, I start imitating the way they talk just naturalistically. So like it's really bad when I'm around other people who are swearing. So like I don't want to swear, but I know I'm gonna end up picking it up because I'm around these people.
Yeah.
And I think that does give a sense of what's that called, when it can seem like belittling if you have to be around that, and like, don't they realize what they sound like, and it's like, this is hurting my feelings too, like. Especially, and then people have to go take the Lord's name in vain, and why does the name of our Lord have to be such a crispy word that people like to use? And it's got a lot of consonants and hard sounds in it, so it's like that's probably why people also like to use it.
I think it's Satan. I think Satan has been speculating this. The common usage of it. Like, I don't know, he can move upon people's hearts and minds and put things in the culture and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's just basically because Satan has facilitated its common use. It's through his various means.
Yeah. So, does anybody have any stories about maybe being belittled in high school or because that's usually where it happens.
I don't have a story of it happening to me. I mean, it did happen to me. I guarantee I don't remember a lot of it, but when I was like a preteen and probably in like 6th or 7th grade, like I went to a fairly small school, but there was like a bunch of guys that I was all friends with, and we were kind of bullies, and we would always say things about other people. There was usually 1 or 2 people that we picked on. And I feel so bad about the things I did when I was a kid. I pray for those people today. I don't even know if they're alive, but I pray for them. I feel so bad.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. There's just so many people that I said mean things to, or just flat out. I think because of anti-trusting people, I would be mean to protect myself. And literally because there were just so many mean kids, and like the school just did nothing about it.
Yeah.
And so I would defend myself, basically. It got to the point where I went from a quiet kid to they're coming to me saying, "You're in trouble and you're suspended for 2 days." And I'm like, why? They started it. I was defending myself, But yeah, I got suspended for 2 days from school for something that wasn't my fault.
Just a side note here, we're gonna get a game started. So
yeah, we're gonna get in the game. I've set it to a shorter 70% domination. The game code is in our private chat. This is also a different map. This is actually a map of Germany and all their counties, basically.
Oh.
Because I think that so many of us that have played this before, we know the world map so well that it's easy for us to know how to play it. And this is a map I've never played, so I don't know how to play it. I don't know what it's.
Oh, Dankeschön, Fraulein.
Yep. All right. So we will get this game going.
Right.
I will share my screen.
Put us up here. We'll get that running up for you just in a second there. Get all jiffy up there.
Yep. 1 second. Wait, is that what I wanted? Wait, no, that's not what I wanted. Stop screen. Let me try that again.
Stop the screen. Sure.
Well, I didn't want to do. I wanted to do the tab, not the window, not the screen. If that makes sense. Okay, there we go. That way, if there's a pop-up, because sometimes this computer can be bad about pop-ups. Yeah.
All right.
Prepare for battle.
All right, let's go.
There was a really good verse in this that I quite liked. Let's see. Yes.
Who's ready?
I'm ready.
Wait, is that it? Or is it the other one?
All right, today we are playing Germany.
Yeah, we're playing Germany because it's too easy to win in the other one.
This is an actual geographical.
Yeah, this is a geographical map.
Well, I recognize Germany, but as far as the smaller divisions.
Yeah, I think it's kind of by counties, sort of.
What do they call them? Anyway, I guess I'm blue. Dabba dee dabba die, and Link's there is pink.
So, question for you guys.
Red.
Feel free to answer. How can you form a habit of being affirming and encouraging to your friends, family, comrades?
Listening.
I mean, it's definitely an environment thing. If you're already affirming, it's relatively easy. And if the people that you're affirming are not toxic, then it's easy. But if you're not used to doing it and you're surrounded by people who don't know how to receive positivity, then it becomes ever so much harder. But I would say a good starting point is just don't dish out negativity, just get into the habit of just holding back your tongue. And then once you get that out of the way, start making neutral statements and work your way back up.
I like it.
You got to draft your guys. You got to place guys, Andy Rue. You're running out of time.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it here. There we go.
Okay.
I think if you want to be encouraging, you want your words to be valid. You don't want them to just be positive and not qualified by the truth. Like, you don't want to be positive but not be true. So I think finding encouraging words from the Bible and using those, and practicing them on yourself and saying them in your own heart and saying them to yourself first would be good practice. So that way you would have them stored up so that you can use them on other people as well. So I think that would be a good way to go about it, maybe.
Yeah, in fact, I did a paper in school about that so the trick was, if you said things to yourself like in front of a mirror out loud, you could actually train your brain quicker because you're making eye contact with yourself and you're saying things out loud. So it builds up, basically think of a new rope that's really small and thin. And then think of the size of the rope that they use to tie up those massive ships at dock. I mean, they're bigger than a person. The width of them is taller than a person. So you want to build up these new connections in your brain really quick. And if you have a lot of negative thoughts about a certain person, you're going to need to build up positive thoughts about that individual. And so, granted, there might be some really legit negative thoughts that you are very real. And you should absolutely, I'm not telling you to psych yourself up into thinking this person's totally okay. That's not what I'm saying. Just to be clear, I'm saying take those things about that person and try to form some positives about them. Even some of the negatives that you learn from a person can be positives for you. Oh, no.
Yeah, it looks like Eli and I got the short end of the stick this round.
How's that? How do you figure?
I don't know. I just feel like we've got less territory than both you and Andy. Well, maybe we're on par with Andy.
I think
they divided. I think they divided equal because they don't want to give anybody.
But the way it's
we kind of got spread apart, whereas you two got a big chunk. Is what he's getting at.
Yeah. Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily translate to a disadvantage. But we'll see.
You're purple, Eli.
No, I'm red.
I'm purple.
Oh, you guys are swapped this time.
Yeah. Okay.
So something I think about sometimes is how I get frustrated with other people or whatever and things like that. I watch things on YouTube or wherever I get frustrated with other people or other people in my life. It's the only thing I need to get frustrated with is things that are objectively contrary to the word and will of God. It's if people are just doing things and it's not a sin or it's not erroneous or it's not bad, objectively from the word of God, then I have no reason to get mad. If they're not doing anything objectively wrong, then I don't need to get up in arms about it. And that's the only things that are really valid and opposing or getting frustrated with, but also dealing with them a Christ-like way or something like that. Because it's other things don't really matter if they're not objectively contrary to the word and will of God.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, resilient.
I don't know why that didn't work, but okay.
The blitz
isn't gonna work. Nah, I better not.
The blitz click.
I'm not gonna.
I think too, the more that you express love and appreciation to your family, your friends. Granted, there's certain ways to obviously deal with coworkers to be appropriate in the workplace, but the more that you are positive towards people in your life that you care about and that you want to build relationships with, so there's a new person in your life and Not that you are like trying to get on their good side, but if you try to get to know them and appreciate them for who they are, you are naturally going to have a new friend. That's just what happens.
Mhm.
And it's something that even in the workplace, if you're going around encouraging and affirming people, you're going to get ahead at work. You just are, because you're a positive person and people want to work with you. Cultivating that attitude of positivity is going to affect every part of your life. I guess that's my point.
What? I did not mean to do that, but okay.
We'll appreciate your input there.
Yeah. Like, I believe like the positivity thing, but I'm always like, I want it to be true, if that makes sense. I want to be rooted in reality.
No,
Like,
I'm not. I'm not talking about toxic positivity. No.
Because when people are super positive, it gives me this like new agey vibe, and I'm like, I don't know if I can believe anything you're saying. Yeah.
I don't like those kinds
You're
of
in a
people
beachy
either.
mountain.
It's the fake ones. It's like they're
Let's,
so nice, but in the fakest way possible.
Yeah. When people are nice, but they're not kind.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, it's really easy to spot them
Superficial.
too.
The superficial friends.
I have a really hard time with those people, honestly. Like, I have a hard time with the people that are not going to even attempt to. They want me when they want me, They want me when it's going to suit them, and they're going to want me in their life, but only if it's going to benefit them, And it's just like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Because I think relationships are 100-100. They're not, 50-50. But it's also hard to be in like a friendship where you give and give and give, and then you don't get anything in return. Those are also toxic people.
Oh. Yeah. Am I gonna risk it?
Today's affirmation is actually kind of interesting and is very true to what we've been talking about. It says, "No unwholesome talk comes out of my mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen."
Wait, why can't I do that?
Because you can't. You're already in attack mode.
When I'm moving troops.
You've already done that. You're in attack mode now. You've changed modes.
Apparently, I have I don't want to do that.
You can back out.
You can end the attack phase.
There is like
right. I want to end the attack phase. That's right. I do want to. How did you know? And then I go to the fortify. Okay.
Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof."
Oh, wunderbar.
Yeah, that is perhaps one of my favorite verses, and I guess in context of belittling, that would be more on the side of death. So you can't exactly have someone who belittles a person. Like when Jesus says to Peter and some of his other disciples, I believe at some point or another, he uses the phrase, "Oh, ye of little faith." That's not to belittle them. That's actually, weirdly enough, an encouragement. It's saying like, you have little faith, but I'm still going to use you. Like you're still useful to me. At least you have little faith, but now listen to what I have to say and you'll be guided. So it's an encouragement. It's not meant to be used as belittling.
Bam. You got the county or the district.
I did.
And now you're going to go forth to conquistadors.
I think like the difference between like belittling and stuff like that and like constructive criticism is belittling is meant to be malicious, and like constructive criticism is meant to like help them build themselves up and that sort of thing, like to adjust and make the changes that need to be made, and like so they can benefit from the constructive criticism. Belittling is meant to be malicious in nature.
That's been a big balancing act for me. Like, how do I compassionately tell somebody, feedback? I just did a feedback form today, and I wrote something and then I rewrote it because I was like, yeah, I was being pretty blunt there. I guess I shouldn't. I should make it softer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the context of this verse is, but I remember in the Bible it says somewhere along the lines that like, let your speech be seasoned with the salt of grace or something along those lines. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing, but it says something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the verse I'm talking
Grace
about.
season. If you know it, you know it.
I think it's possible to belittle someone even if we're not trying to put them down. Yeah. I always remember this situation that I witnessed many years ago. We had this friend who was not the brightest bulb in the box, so to speak. And this friend of ours went to a vocational school where they, teach them a trade in addition to their basic education. And one day, this friend of mine, very happy that she made the honor roll. And she's telling everyone that she made the honor roll. And then someone makes a comment, like it wasn't intended to put her down. It just came out naturally from their mouth. And they're like, oh, well, it's not a real school. Like it wasn't meant to be mean, but it totally destroyed her confidence. And I was like, did they just say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it can be difficult to not belittle people because like you may not know it's going to offend somebody too.
Yeah. Well, on top of if we're so used to trying to be funny, because we mask our pain with humor, and then we try to be funny when things really need to be taken seriously, then we're in danger zone there because we just end up hurting people for the laugh,
Oh man, I can think of a great example as to what you're talking about. I'll share it if you'd like.
Please do.
So basically, I was roommates with this guy, and for whatever reason, like one of our other roommates, he would always go like tap his knees or like his thighs with his hands and just like say like, come here, like they were a dog. And it's like that's like borderline belittling basically. But to make matters worse, now I feel bad because ever since I saw him doing it, I would like never do that to dogs. And now, like, I used to be a guy who wasn't the best of friends with dogs, even though they're supposed to be man's best friend. And so now I've just kind of transitioned into like, very cynical when it comes to dogs. I'll just admit that. And today I was actually with my friend, and by the way, never mind. Let me go back on track. His dog was there, and I kept going, come here. It's like a subconscious thing. It's that secondhand smoke like we were mentioning earlier. So now I just feel bad about it.
Ooh, you get 13 cards.
I had another question. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a scenario and then you guys comment, okay? So there's somebody in your life who has a lot of shortcomings. They just do. You know who this person is. Everybody has this person in their life. They have got a lot of shortcomings. It could be a coworker, somebody in your family, somebody that you know. All right. They are not yours to fix. So you are, maybe I should ask this question. Let me ask this question after I take my turn. I apologize. Whoa, that is not what I want to do.
Fortify the front lines.
I am. I'm fortifying the front lines and trying to figure out where I want to go.
Mm.
Yeah. This is the tough part.
Excuse me.
Where to?
Got a little cold I'm working on here. Something, a little cough. It was all that ice cream on Monday night. I went to a social. We had ice cream afterwards, and it was really good. But I haven't eaten that much sugar in a while.
Isn't it fascinating what sugar does to you, Roddy?
Yeah.
It's so weird. I've been using stevia and stuff for the longest time, and then just in 2 weeks, I had so much more sugar than I'd probably had since January.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, man, I am phlegmy. This is awful.
Flemish.
And do not like the sugar. Okay, so back to my question now that my turn's over. All right, so this person, a lot of shortcomings, very negative, very bossy person, and nobody wants to be around them. Obviously, there are circumstances where you have to be around them, but they are the person that goes around belittling every single person, right? Every single person that crosses their path, they're going to have something to say about them, sometimes to their face. How do we handle this person? What do we do to try to minimize their impact to us and surrounding people? Thoughts, solutions? Let's talk about it.
Avoid them at all costs. If that's an option.
No, the situation is you can't avoid them. You're going to be around them for the rest of the day. You are going to be around this person. You don't have a choice.
Maybe let's say maybe you're a little bit younger and you're kind of forced to be in a situation. You can't. You're too young to drive. You can't get away. It's kind of like one of those things where you have to stay with your parents and this person's around. Like annoying kid.
So
used to scrubs annoying.
So I would say I don't have a complete answer, but I have an idea. So I would say the first thing you do is with any problem, the first thing you want to do is pray. And and take into consideration that the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So that sort of stuff plays out in our daily lives and as well as the global scale. So that is something to take into consideration. And then study the Bible and devise some sort of strategy to approach it from there, I guess. Maybe. But I don't necessarily have a strategy at hand, but I'm sure there's something that you could find in there that would be helpful. Because if they're a person, if you're a human, then everybody needs salvation. So you might as well try to help them, I guess, if they're part of your life,
I agree. So if you want to continue the cycle of violence, then you're gonna turn on this person and complain about them behind their back to other people in your life, and you might go on the internet and complain about them or make a post or something and throw shade back at them, and maybe you've told yourself that you're not that kind of person. You're not going to do that. And you got my territory there. Okay. And so it can be, a little bit of a catch-22 because you're basically perpetuating what they've done to you and other people. So, well, what's the only way to stop a cycle? What's the only way to break a chain like that?
Well, I would say you can't you can either lock them up in a prison so they can't get to anybody, or
you're taking drastic measures,
or you could work with God, and minister to them, and hopefully God will convert their heart and they'll stop doing the things that they're doing. I guess that's the only answer that I really got is they got to change, and the only person who can change them is God. So
yeah.
So I have a solution which I've actually tested, and it does work. And It's a horrible. I actually got it from the phrase that I've heard so many times, which is "kill them with kindness." Particular situation comes to mind, and I'm just trying to choose my words here very carefully, so bear with. Really difficult individual, extremely difficult. Just negative comments constantly. Every single person around this person. And I just decided one day, you know, it was kind of a joke because I'm like, I wonder how long I can stand this person. Like, you know, and I'm kind of just like in my mind, like creating a game to play. And the game was everything they say that's negative, I'm going to make a positive. Like if they're throwing out a comment, let's say this person's in the room. So if they say something negative to Andy Rue, I'm going to say, yeah, but Andy Rue is such a good listener, you know? And so then, you know, they say something negative about Brett. I'm going to say, yeah, but have you heard Brett play the guitar? And then they say something about Eli, and I'm going to be like, man, Eli has the best jokes. And it just kept going like that. And so I just kept doing that. And I did that repeatedly many, many, many times, like at, you know, when I'm stuck at these events, right? And I finally was like, this person was like, why are you so nice? And I'm like, what do you mean? You're just so nice all the time. Why? Because I don't want to be a mean person. But you're just always nice. Yeah, that's what being nice is. Oh, okay.
I mean, do you want to learn how to be nice too?
That was it. That was the conversation. It was just like, huh. And I was like, you know, I think there's something to this. And so I've done that a lot in my life since then. And it's really been a good experience for me personally. A good practice and positivity that's not like toxic, but just generally just being nice. But I think it started to change the way I thought about people in general. And I started to look for the positives about pretty much everyone I met, regardless of how awful they were, and just be nice, because I feel like there's not, maybe that's bordering on toxic positivity, but my point of view and reasoning is I feel like there is just so much garbage that goes on in the world in general. It feels like we should just be a little bit more positive about situations, you know, in general, because it's going to hurt you in the long run too, you know, and how you're dealing with things. Yeah, that's all I got.
I actually have a similar situation.
Okay, let's hear it.
I was working with a gentleman, and for whatever reason, sometimes this gentleman, he was kind of like the guy at work who everybody just agreed was just kind of a rude person sometimes. Like he wasn't doing it to like maybe be that person. Like he was still kind in his own way, but he was kind of a jerk some days. And he would do it like nonchalantly, like to your face, and you're just like, oh, it's my turn. And the main thing was one day I just had an opportunity where out of nowhere I just helped this gentleman even though he didn't ask, and he's like, why are you helping me? And I'm just like, can I not help you? And from that point on, it wasn't like we were like the best of buddies or anything, but it was like all of a sudden he started to be more open, I guess, like less mean, if you will. So anyway, that's just something that's interesting.
He softened his heart. Look at that, teddy bear.
I have like no men on the field. There's no reason to attack anybody.
Something I was thinking about is, you know, the Bible says it's the goodness of God that leads us to repentance. And I think that's something that can apply in our own daily lives as well. You know, like being good to other people will cause them to change for the better. That sort of thing, because it's like, you know, the great expression of God's love towards us, you know, epitomized with Jesus dying on the cross for us, that, you know, touches our heart and, you know, it draws repentance out of us, you know, and that sort of thing. So I think that is something that applies in daily life and daily relationships as well.
It's really interesting too that I think that the more time that you spend with God, it's just a lot easier to take those kinds of people anyway, because you're not seeing them as just this person that's angry all the time and yelling at everybody. You start to see this other person as, this is also a child of God. This person's obviously been through a lot. This person's having a bad day probably because of something. And I think it just becomes easier over time to, not be that person. Don't be like them. Be a part of the solution. And listening. As Hive was talking, I think some of the people at work that I've had to work with, and everything's kind of fast paced in the workplace. And so it's really just about listening to them. And I started to just listen to people, but like acknowledge that I'm listening, not just be quiet and listen. Cause sometimes, it's like over the cubicle kind of a thing, but just be like, oh yeah, I can see how that would be difficult. That's a good point. Acknowledge that you're listening to that individual. Because once somebody feels heard, they're like, oh, this is different. I'm not used to this, and it's the building blocks of a relationship is listening anyway.
Totes diff.
I have another thought. I think quite often people will kind of sit and pretend and think like, they're not like that person who's going through that bad experience or having that bad day. But we all have those instances like that where it's like, we're not made of steel. We're not impenetrable. We're not like Titanium, that one song by Sia, I think it is. Anyway, so often people will just think that they're impenetrable, but usually that's not how it works. I think part of it has to do with ego, but part of it has to do with like even like that gentleman I was mentioning who's kind of like a jerk at work. It's like, maybe he'd use his tongue to belittle, or maybe he would on occasion use his tongue to be kind, but if it seemed like it was more belittling more than not, everybody just kind of ignored him. And then those instances come where you can just be kind, and even if you don't agree with that person on everything, you could still see that they're not so different from you.
All right, we're good. Give me 1 second here.
Hey Brett, can you check your messages, please?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Thanks.
I'm pulling them up.
The author also brought another good point out about just thanking people. Just say thank you. Applaud people for what they've done. Thank you so much. And I think we can actually be that positive about it if we really think about how this person has aided in whatever situation we've asked them to be a part of and how they've helped us. And just, it also, guess what? When you start to be positive, you just start to be positive. You're not just being toxic positive. You're just like thinking positively. You're engaging people in a different way. And now you're just being an encourager. So it's almost like God's training you to just be a better person.
Be a better person.
Well, that's what this whole series is about, isn't it? It's trying to help us to become better versions of ourselves. And in being a better person ourselves, we're going to be able to spread the gospel easier, get through life easier. We know that God's word is can be very critical about our spirit and how we are just thinking of like the fruit of the spirit, you know, and how that is a very good recipe for how we can be just better as individuals. And the fruit of the spirit is open to everybody, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Bible says, what does it say? It says, he was talking, Jesus was talking about parents. He said, you being evil know how to give good gifts unto your children. Why would your Father in heaven not give you the things that you ask? But he's talking about the Holy Spirit in that context.
Yeah. Would you pull that verse up for us and post it in the chat? The one that you just mentioned.
Mm.
Yeah, let's say. I don't know which one it is. I just know it.
Whoa.
You'll find it. I know
Whoa.
you could put the fruit of the spirit one up, which is Galatians 5, what is it, 5:22? I think.
Man, I got the short end of the stick this game. I don't even know what to do.
Well, what I did was I found the area where I was most concentrated, and then I first focused on that. And you move outward. You set up like a home base. It's a Rhineland.
Yeah, that was my strategy.
That's basically
That was my strategy too.
the best. Well, it's really the only strategy you can really take. And then, unless there's like another strategy I'm not aware of.
There might be.
You've taken my territory, ma'am.
All right, here we go. You know you can really attack me with a different one, right? You don't have to use that 3 of yours.
I know.
But you have secured the facility.
I'm just playing the game.
Just playing the game, man. I'm saying, man. I'm saying.
To you, I say, what's the name of the game?
Risk.
Yeah, that's why I had to ask, because if we're taking risks by playing this game, that's the risk that you have to take, is using your 666 on the board in order to come at my 1121.
Are we risking our friendships here?
Oh, well, that's funny because you do have.
I had to point
3
out
6s in one territory and 3 6s in the other territory.
I think he's saying he's feeling belittled by the.
I am so sorry, Hive.
It's all fun and games until someone loses. All right.
Well,
let's make that magic happen, bro. There you go. There you go. You're gonna do it.
Something like that. It's not really that great. I don't want to use all my men because I've got like no one on the field right now. That's the only problem.
You did great. I would hold there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just have to, but I don't know exactly. I want to take a risk, and I won that risk. No, I didn't actually. Never mind.
Did not.
I thought I won, but I realized I'm not red.
Oh.
I was looking at
you were red last time.
I was looking at the red thinking it was me, but no, it's not.
It's not you.
There's a doppelganger in this game tonight. So what do we do? There's like nothing to fortify. Like, that's it.
Beef up those defenses. Plan your move that you're gonna do after. You gotta think steps ahead. It's like chess.
You have to take steps. You have to post this.
That's why they put the fortify section in there, so you do have the opportunity to.
Yeah, but we're playing 70%, remember? So it's not like you got to get the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got 2 purple zones you can work out of. So you're doing good. You started to work your way. out there, and I think I'm making my next strategy too.
Yay. I think it's really fun because it's fun to see how different people choose to play the game, you know?
Oh, dang. I know where you're going, bud.
So I see we've got a couple of watchers. Say hello if you are.
One single voice.
Well, it was 2 a second ago.
Brett, are you the other one? I think Brett's the other one.
I don't know.
I think
I-
Brett might be the other one.
I'm logged into the chat on stream, whatever, StreamYard, whatever we're on. But I'm not watching on YouTube.
Yeah, me neither. And so therefore, it's not Brett. If it was somebody else who just popped in and popped out.
Well, they've been popping in and out a lot then. I know most people watch later though, so it's after the fact. I think they put us on in the background when they're at work.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right, we got to do this.
Do it.
Well, here comes Andy
Rest
going
in pieces, me.
going all out on Eli.
Sorry, bud.
Should I make a belittling comment?
Eli, do you want to make an alliance?
No, let's just play the game as intended and take
Okay.
that loss with dignity. you know?
Okay, so you're willing to take the L, as it were in Zoomer slang.
I always
Take
do.
the L.
You know? If the L is gonna be handed down, then you take that. You
Take the
that
L.
medicine.
Or is that even Zoomer slang, or did the millennials come up with that first? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Some of it's blended together. Some people say Zoomer slang, and it's like things millennials have been saying forever. But
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be hard to get the dub. Gonna be hard to get the dub this time.
but some of the stuff that like I don't know. There's some stuff that I hear that Gen Z slang. I'm like, what in the world is that? Doesn't make any sense.
Also, am I the only Zoomer here?
It may
I'll
be.
be honest, I don't know.
I
the
probably
difference
am.
between Zoomers.
It may be at Morn.
I think anyone born in 1998 or after is Gen Z.
Yeah, so that's like I'm the only Zoomer here then.
What if you were born exactly 2 weeks before 1988?
98.
98.
98.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
It's
Never mind.
96 actually.
Eli's sharing his age just for everybody now.
I'm off by a decade.
Oh,
That's okay.
Look at Link's go.
Oh,
Even
decisions,
so,
decisions.
well, I do agree that the time we were born in shapes our personality. I don't think it's everything.
I think there's
Okay,
things.
she's going
There's
for
like
it.
trends that were popular when you were growing up that stick with you and that sort of thing.
Oh, no,
Definitely.
Links, what are you doing?
I definitely agree with that. I just
Oh,
think
hey.
Oh man.
More cards.
everything about a
Oh
person
man.
basically.
Oh man.
I can only apologize.
This is so wrong.
So I have an interesting thing that's kind of off topic, but it was something I heard people talking about. But we were talking about Gen Z and millennial and all that sort of stuff. So I was thinking about, has anybody heard about people talking about the death of the monoculture? Like how like nothing is like unified anymore in culture anymore because of the internet and
What
everything
is-
is so diversified.
Can you give
Is
us
it-
an example? Because I don't think I understand that.
Like back when before the internet was super popular, like everybody watched the same TV shows and everybody knew what was going on. It was kind of plugged into the same stuff. But now because the internet is so popular, there's so many niches and so many different demographics that there's no like
Bye, Bluey.
no more unified monoculture sort of thing.
That's really interesting.
Yes, agreed, but also that's a good thing.
I don't know. I hear the opposite of that theory all the time, that somehow the culture is quote unquote more unified as a result of having the internet.
Yeah.
Well, we're more unified in our communications, but we're less unified in like
Types of
Like,
media.
like everybody, like back in early 2000s, like the popular type of music was like pop punk and emo and and various other like the rap of that time. But now like everybody's listening to different music because of Spotify, for example. Like
Right.
nobody listens to the same stuff.
It's
Like,
more diversified. Like there's just so
You got
much
more options.
content being pumped out.
yeah, it's
I'm
more
on mute.
diversified.
I'm on mute.
That's what
And
it is.
you
Sorry.
definitely have more options, but I still feel that people overall tend to gravitate over certain things, regardless. I mean, when I was in school, the internet hadn't quite kicked off yet, and yet I didn't watch half the shows that everybody was watching, and the ones I did watch, nobody cared for. So the internet is not entirely to blame. There will always be niche groups, and nowadays, I mean, let's look at music, right? We have the most options in music, and yet there's one particular artist that's selling out movie theaters and Ticketmaster and everything. So I don't think monoculture has completely disappeared. There's just more options for people to choose from, but people shall forever sort of flock to the big
Darn it.
names.
I took a
Yeah, I think there's
big
stuff that
risk.
rises to the top, but it's more diversified.
Definitely, but there will always be people who just don't like to follow the crowd. And those people, such as myself, we will always go to the smaller creators because that's what attracts us. Should I even bother to win anymore? Or should I just
That's what I'm wondering, Eli.
should I
You
just
guys-
make the worst possible play because it's over? You know
It's
what?
up to you.
Yeah,
If you
that's
guys
exactly
go
what I'm
all
gonna
out,
do.
If you
That's
want to
exactly
just
what I'm gonna do. I'm
kamikaze
not saying I'm
yourself
playing
into
myself
the
out.
Andy, it's up to you.
I'm just saying I don't care if I lose. So there's no risk if you've already given up, right? That's how it works.
Nah, there's still very much a real risk in that. Oh man,
Oh,
yeah,
well, you
just
lost
kamikaze
them
to
all there.
Andy.
There is no risk involved.
Look
If
at
you
you.
already have accepted your defeat, there is no risk to be had here. See, I already accepted my defeat, so it don't really
you're
matter
left with
what
singles there,
I'm
I
bro.
end up
holding on,
doing.
but I don't have any men, so I can't do anything.
Oh,
Well, then
you're
get
just
men.
going out with the bang there.
Oh wait, there were more moves I could have made, but whatever. What's
He
done
went
is
full
done.
commando for about like 2 seconds.
You know what?
Right.
Nah, I will take that L.
Wow. Okay. Behold what God hath wrought.
Funny you should say that. Just doing the same thing Lynx did to me.
3 and 3.
At least this isn't Uno, guys. Otherwise, we'd just be arguing.
That's not how you play the game.
It wasn't that long ago, actually, that apparently there was some debate on Twitter with Uno, with people talking about the actual rules of Uno, and then Uno on Twitter responding, which was quite amusing.
Yeah, so I had a similar experience because I love to play Parcheesi or Pachisi or Pachisi or Ludo, whatever we're gonna call it. I love
that
game.
Yeah. That's a family
but
game.
yeah, there is no denying that every family seems to have their own house rules to the point that it's impossible to tell what the actual rules of the game are.
Yeah.
So I was at an event and they had the game out and people were inviting me to play. And I was like, sure, what rules are we playing by? And they were like, just the regular rules. And I told them there are no regular rules. We need to sit down before we start the game and agree what to do, or what can or can't be done in specific situations. And when I said that and we got the pen and paper, nobody could agree on what the rules were.
Yep.
Nobody could do it. So I told them, like, regardless of how we've always played it, let's just agree for the sake of this. And then we got that happening. And most people walked out. They were like, this isn't fun anymore. I'm like, yeah, this is one of those games. Everybody got their own set of house rules.
The best...
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say the best version is South American rules. That's all.
For Parcheesi.
Andy Rue, are you still attacking?
South American rules? Yeah, I'm just debating on whether I want to
Okay.
go hard on this. I think I can. Yeah.
I'm just Googling it to see if I can actually find the rules.
The rules there are no rules. They never were. Whatever you want it to be.
That's the secret.
There might not actually be a list of the South American rules. That's just what our friends called it in Toronto. But I don't know.
I've got another thing about this belittling tongue. Something that the author says. She actually writes, "Are your expectations so high that you focus on everyone's shortcomings rather than their assets?" If someone speaks well of the person you envy, do you follow up with a disparaging remark? Like, are you encouraging that behavior? Are you so insecure that you can only feel good about yourself by putting someone else down? Which actually 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, "Therefore encourage one another and build each other up." I think we already said that one. Just as you also are doing. But that's a really good point. Do you ever get that? I guess that would be, what is that called? That is called, tap any of your territories. Oh, I have to begin. How many troops do I have?
Got to make the magic happen, sister.
Yeah, I have to decide what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to go there. We're going to do it. Next phase.
I think all you guys should ally and take on Lynx.
You can only ally one person. Sorry.
Dang it. Really, Lynx? Not even giving me a chance?
Look at her go.
I'm playing the game. I apologize in advance. I am...
Go after Andy. He's your arch nemesis.
Arch nemesis? Wow.
Yes.
That's strong language. It's like playing hopscotch.
Sure.
All right, give me at least like a little room, a little breathing room. Thank you. You're killing me.
She's just gonna work her way around because that's just.
She's taunting me. She's taunting me. She's actually getting me off the map so I can't have a turn.
Now we're gonna eventually reach a point in this.
Sorry, I got all your cards though. Yay.
Yeah, well, I'm not too pleased about it, but all right. It's
now I get more. And more.
That's why I didn't want.
Okay.
All right. Let's go back to just belittling. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Well, how big do you feel right now?
How big do I feel? I'm not on the board, so I don't feel anything.
Okay, so you feel rather
wait,
small.
you got another draft opportunity because of that?
Because I got all his cards.
Oh, I want to do that.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little fun. It's a little fun.
You did this last time too.
Yeah, I'm really apologize. I really should not
52.
try.
Okay.
I'm not even trying to win. That's the worst part. Like, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll go here. Yeah, I'll go here.
Yeah, you saw your territory at the.
You've played this so many times.
Your territory has.
I've never played this map. I've literally never played this map.
Well, that doesn't matter.
I thought I was giving myself a handicap.
Attack.
I'm really sorry. I thought I was giving myself a handicap.
Bam, bam. And there you go. And we're gonna go next. I wonder.
I'm really sorry.
You can.
I'm sorry, Andy.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna last too long.
No, I only took one.
This is funny now. It's so funny.
Haha.
All right.
Go, Eli, go.
We're only playing the 70%, and right now I'm at
Whatever shall I
57%.
do?
Yeah, so you only need another 13%.
Yep.
So
All right.
this is going to be fight to the death.
Go wild, Eli. Do it.
Oops, I forgot to go wild. I guess I go wild in the next turn.
What?
What?
You did? You didn't even.
Oh, you're going to be a stinker.
That was actually a really good play.
Yeah, that's smart. All right. Well,
Oh, I've never thought of that. That wouldn't have even occurred to me. I really like that. I'm going to use that sometime.
okay. Let's see what you did there.
For those that are just listening, he just took and he had like 3 guys on one spot and he just bumped it up to 17 and just like ended his turn, didn't fortify or anything. So he's surrounded by ones of himself and then just one at 17. So he will go out with a bang.
That's true. Yeah. All right.
Unless like, oh, oh, Andy is a
no.
savage. Oh no.
Well, see, I want to make like taps, but I don't want to get demonetized. You know.
Wow. He did it, but it took like over half your guys to do that. So Andy Rue just took him out with 32, but it dropped him down to 12.
So
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Now you can just delete all of those and get his cards.
Yeah.
but of course,
Yes.
Why are you fortifying?
But yes, by all means, I pretty much gonna may have actually cost him the game. I'm just saying.
The fortifying?
No, taking me out like that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
I understand. I thought about that too, but we'll see.
Yeah,
there are
you
the
done
cards.
goofed.
Wah, wah.
Sorry,
But now
Eli.
Andy
I
Rue's
fought
gonna
with
get
honor,
his
gentlemen
cards.
and
This is gonna be
ladies.
good. This is gonna be good. I can't wait to see where he sticks his cards. I'm so excited. Because now the board is just pink and blue.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Well,
it's over. See, what you do now is that you move all of your cards from the west coast eastward, and
To
you
the
just
front?
make a wall that takes them out.
Where you gonna drop them?
So that's what this is. This is now a fortifying battle. It's a fortifying battle. Can Andy Rue hold strong? Can he hold his ground?
thank you, commentators. We're coming live.
But really, what it's about is you're just gonna move forward. You're just gonna move. Yeah, we're just gonna move to the west. We're just gonna move to the west, and we're gonna annihilate them.
I'm curious here.
Oh, don't! What are you doing, man? It's like, that is not a play.
Yeah.
And remember, it's only 7%.
Fortify like you've never fortified before.
Let's see. I don't.
If your life depends on it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is now.
Oh, I get it. I can't really do much because I do have most of them spread pretty thin. So we'll see how long this takes.
Oh no.
You got 44 cards there, girl.
I just want to say I'm sorry.
Bob and weave. So this is gonna last all but the 5 seconds.
Yeah, I can kind of tell this is pretty much going to go one way. And one way only.
No. Oh, resistance there.
There is a resistance. Well, it depends. So you went blitz? Did you go blitz? Okay, yeah. Depending on what percentage, you were probably just better off not using blitz.
6%.
I don't blitz everything because I don't think it always works. I think it's better if you just like manually roll it.
Okay, losing territory there. All right, 68%.
I won.
Only in
Good
the
game.
Oh, there we
good
go.
Game.
There we go. You didn't even need to.
Napoleon's crying.
I didn't even
Yeah.
use the 51 that I was up to.
Good
only
job.
in the,
Good
in
job.
the instance, only in the instance when Blitz is like at 100%, would I ever consider using it.
I've leveled up too.
What
I
other
don't
kind
even
of games they
understand
have
what
here?
any of those words mean. So
Ooh, I get black dice now. Woo.
Well, I guess that's it for Risk.
That's it. Thanks for playing. I apologize.
Free map of the week. Okay, we did Deutschland, so
We did. There are
28 turns.
here,
later.
I'm just gonna share my screen just to show you guys maps. So for next week, so we can kind of decide what we're gonna do.
Roquet's in the chat.
We can play Undead Hordes. Hey, Roquet.
Roquet!
Which?
Roquet is our guy.
He's the dude.
He's the dude. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the maps and I'm gonna just show you guys. Like I'm gonna go to create a game. So this is the map we just played, Deutschland.
Ja, Deutschland.
28 turns later, which seems to be
Zombie London.
Yep.
Undead hordes climbing the Big Ben. Humans retreat to the Buckingham Palace. Who will prevail?
Okay, we're on a different screen now. This is the classic map, the one we played last week. There is so many maps that we haven't unlocked yet. Like this is the simple world, which is like really big, just more continents. A reverse world, which is interesting.
Oh.
Pangea, Earth
They should do, like,
2209. Oh, that's
Last
interesting.
Airbender.
Japan,
Oh.
Turkey, New Zealand, and Australia.
Ooh, they should make a missionary journey of Paul map.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
They have one of Jason and the Argonauts.
There's all kinds of like young themed ones. There's like
Holdings.
Dracula's Castle, Jules Verne, Mysterious Island, The Lost Temple, World Conquest, which it's got different sea lanes and some other islands added, which is kind of cool. Classic Frozen map.
Normandy.
Interesting. Central America, Asia of the 1800s. The United States only, France only, Africa, Canada, Brazil, modern Spain, Greece. That one actually looks really interesting just because of all the little chain islands.
Mm-hmm.
The original Roman Empire, the Ming Dynasty, the Ottoman Empire, which is really interesting when you just look at the countries there that are involved, or the modern day countries.
Oh,
Britannia, the Anglo-Saxon Britain circa 700s.
Central America, Asia.
The current more Britannia a little bit. This one's made up. Fractured islands that have been unclaimed for too long. Forsaken lands, enchanted lands, castle, Rivertown. That one's kind of weird. Rivertown Advance looks cool though. That one looks really cool. That one would be really hard too. Wow. Alcatraz. I mean, there's like 92 maps here, but there is just so many cool maps that we could play. So I'm thinking about going premium when they have their next sale, just so we can play some more advanced maps.
Make it, switch it up there.
Yeah. When they do their sale next, we'll get.
That's pretty neat.
It is. It's really cool. But anybody, you guys, this game is free. It's just Risk. You can.
I've
play
been
for
to that
free.
place. If you go down to the Mount Saint Michel or whatever,
Ooh, I love it.
It's a really cool castle-looking place in France.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures of that. There's a lot of game-themed maps in here too, like different video games that you play, and they've done themed maps based on them.
This game is on iPad and iPhone, I believe.
Yeah, and it is also on Android. And the classic game of Risk is just the original map, which is the whole world.
So
that's the one we played last week.
You got to go premium to get that one. So basically, as you level up or whatever, and you get more gems or rubies or whatever they call them, you basically just get unlockable like skins and game pieces.
And then there's also
more powerful, but it's unique.
Correct. And then there's always a free map of the week. There's a couple choices to do. And this one seems to be always there, but I'm not sure why.
Ibel land. I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And then it mentioned Spain, but I'm like, I don't understand.
Well, the Iberian Peninsula. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're almost halfway through this book. We've just done 13. Next week, we're doing the cynical tongue, which is going to be a good one. That's we kind of touched on that a little bit tonight, didn't we? Just because of the negativity aspect of people.
Okay, wiki on this thing, eyeball.
And then when we get halfway through, it's the know-it-all tongue, which will be a good one.
Oh, you can come have me be a speaker for that one.
Who?
You can come have me be a speaker for that one.
Which one?
I know it all.
Is that a joke?
I'm sure. I'm sure you guys will tell me. So, all right. So, good game, everybody. Thanks for watching and playing along.
Good game.
Yes, God bless. Also, make sure if you want, you can pick up this book. It's 30 Days to Taming Your Tongue by Deborah Smith Pajou. And we've been really enjoying it, obviously. So we hope to see you next week. God bless.